For 5,000 years, the Indus Valley civilization has kept its secrets locked away behind an undeciphered script, leaving historians completely baffled. For centuries, we've stared at these clay seals, these messages in a bottle from a lost world, and found nothing. But what if the answer wasn't buried in a dusty tomb? What if the key wasn't held by an archaeologist, but hidden inside a machine learning algorithm? Stop imagining what ancient India looked like, based on vague sketches and academic guesses, using cutting-edge AI. We have even just begun to crack the code. We've used that data to visually reconstruct their bustling cities in stunning detail. You are about to see, for the very first time, the true daily life of this advanced, forgotten superpower. We've transformed centuries of silence into coherent trade networks and complex urban planning. The final mystery of the Indus Valley is finally being solved. To understand the breakthrough, you have to understand the failure. The Indus Valley civilization, or the Harappan, was massive. At its peak, it was larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. They had indoor plumbing, grid-based cities, and weights and measures so precise they're almost modern. But unlike their neighbors, they didn't leave us a Rosetta Stone. We found over 4,000 inscribed objects. Yet the average length of an inscription is just 5 symbols. For 100 years, the world's greatest linguists have hit a brick wall. Some claimed it wasn't a language at all, but just a collection of religious icons or family crests. The trail went cold. Historians accepted that the Harappans might remain the only literate civilization we would never actually hear from. Until now, archaeologists have spent lifetimes failing to understand the Harappan script. But a new approach achieved a breakthrough using advanced neural networks in a matter of weeks. Instead of trying to translate the symbols like a human would, the AI looked at the math by analyzing the entropy of the script, the patterns of how often certain symbols appear. Next to others, the algorithm compared the Indus signs against known human languages like Sumerian and Old English. The result? The machine confirmed the logic and the syntax that random symbols just don't have. It proved, mathematically, that this was a language. But the AI went further. By bridging ancient data with modern deep learning, we began to see the intent behind the symbols. We weren't looking at epic poems about kings. We were looking at the world's first high-speed data for global trade. What the Harappans were actually saying will rewrite human history. The AI revealed a civilization obsessed with order, standardization, and connect. The scripts were UNG's names. They were sophisticated smart contracts for a trade network that stretched all the way to the Persian Gulf. We've discovered records of tidal movements for their massive dockyards and complex urban zoning laws that kept their cities clean and functional while the rest of the world was living in mud huts. Using this newly decoded data, we've been able to map the flow of their daily life. We can now see how a merchant in Mohenjo-daro coordinated with a craftsman in Harappa. We aren't just reading their words. We are seeing their world. It was a society that prioritized the collective good over the ego of a single pharaoh. No massive palaces. No giant statues of kings, just a perfectly tuned technological superpower. The silence of the Indus Valley didn't end because we found a new artifact. It ended because we built a new lens. By applying neural networks to our ancient past, we've proven that no mystery is truly unsolvable. It is just a matter of having the right tools to listen. The Harappans are finally speaking, and they're reminding us that the foundations of our modern world, our cities, our technology were laid down 5 millennia ago by a people who were far more like us than we ever dared to imagine. The code is cracked, the cities are rising, and history will never be the same